Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? It is your girl, Courage Molina, Pastor Courage Molina of Dose of Courage Community Church. And I'm also a faith coach. I help entrepreneur women to become bolder, more confident, and courageous enough to be who God has called them to be, do what God has called them to do, and take possession of everything God said they could have without hesitation or apology. And I do that by helping them to build extraordinary faith. My lips are dry. Give me a minute. Okay. I feel like now we in now. Um, so today's Freedom Friday. Worker. It sounds like a remix. Welcome to our morning devotional for entrepreneurs. Today is Freedom Friday. And because today is Freedom Friday, I typically try and share something that I want you to get free from, something that I'm getting free from, or something that the Lord is, helping me through right at this particular time in this season. And so I want you to break free from other people's feelings. That's what we're breaking free from this week. Other people's feelings. We are breaking free from somebody else's feelings. Um, the Word of God says that above all else, guard your heart because it's the wellspring of life, right? Here's the thing. My water's over there. I feel like I'm ill prepared today. Y'all stay with me. Here's the thing. You know, we want to be kind and we want to be compassionate and all these things. And we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or we want to do the nice thing or whatever. And at the same time, it's important for us to guard our own heart. It's important for us to guard our heart. And so it means not exposing yourself to situations, events, conversations, or people who are going to rob you of your peace. And I hate using that because it's like a big, huge buzz thing right now. It's like, oh, don't let these people disturb your peace. Don't let these people disturb your peace. Like, I know that that's like a real thing right now. Like everybody's saying it. And I guess I'm saying it too, to a certain degree, that say what needs to be said, right? Don't worry about their feelings. Do what needs to be done. Don't worry about their feelings. Um, Go where you need to go, be who you need to be, serve how you need to serve, buy what you need to buy, spend what you need to spend. Do not worry about what other people are thinking or how other people are going to be feeling about how you are making moves, because I think it is the weight of that that makes it difficult sometimes for us to move. I think it's the weight of that that makes it difficult sometimes for us to celebrate the breakthroughs and the things that we've accomplished. I think it's the weight of that can sometimes keep you from legit enjoying what you've worked for. We're kind of worried about how somebody's going to feel about what we're saying or how somebody's going to feel about what we're doing. But the truth is, now you're going without, or now I'm going without because I'm worried about your feelings. I'm I'm going to tell you, which I feel like it doesn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it. We're not like I'm not telling you to go around intentionally hurting somebody's feelings. Like, I'm not going around intentionally hurting your feelings. But if your feelings get hurt, then you know what I'm saying? You just don't know where another person is. You don't know where they are in their mental or emotional. Maybe they are going to have their feelings hurt, and maybe they're going to feel a type of way because they are emotionally, mentally, or spiritually immature. That is completely possible. So now it's like with the kids. So my kids were younger. Obviously my kids were younger. When my kids were younger, they would cry about things and they would be upset about things. But I knew I was doing what was best. Like, no, you can't have that before you go to bed, or no, you're not going there, or I need you to do this instead of doing that. And their feelings might have been hurt, and they might have felt like, oh, they can never have any fun, or whatever those things may be. But it's because they were too immature to understand what we were doing. They were too immature to understand the boundaries, right? Or they didn't have the mental or emotional capacity to cope with whatever unpleasant situation they felt like we were putting them in by not allowing them to do something or by forcing them to do something, right? When they were kids. I didn't make my decisions based on how they were going to feel. No, I didn't intentionally try and hurt their feelings, but I didn't base my my decisions based on how they were going to feel. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because I'm the adult in this situation. I'm responsible for XYZ. But the same is true here. You got to guard your heart, and sometimes that means moving, saying, not moving, staying, going, whatever, in a certain way where you already know, okay, when I do this, when I say this, this is going to be upsetting to this person. Sometimes the decisions that you make are upsetting to people who lives it does not impact at all. Right? You ever had something like that? Like, oh, I've decided to give up meat, or I've decided to move to another city, or I've decided to look for a new job, or I've decided to start a business, or I've decided to start a ministry. That literally has no impact on some of the people who feel a type of way about it. And so when we are hyper concerned with the feelings of somebody else, it keeps us from doing what is necessary. Hey, Beverly Bank. Listen, I'm struggling. Hey, Beverly Banks. Happy Freedom Friday to you too. That's just the thing. Like, I cannot, because this is why, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you can't manage somebody else's feelings. I cannot manage your feelings. And it's also not your responsibility. It's not my responsibility to manage your feelings, and I am unable to manage your feelings. I can only control myself. So check your heart to make sure your motives are pure. Check your heart to make sure it's not coming from a negative place. But outside of that, you need to move. How did I get here this day? How did I get to this Freedom Friday? I'm in Rachel Luna's faith activated journaling experience. And so we've been talking about money all month of April. The entire month of April, we've been talking about money and limiting beliefs around money. And so one of the prompts we talked about this week kind of led me down a path where I started to think about what is the underlying fear that I have about being wildly successful financially. What does that look like? And I started to think, well, I don't want people to feel like this, or I don't want people to feel like that, and all of this stuff. It's like, so hold up. You are holding up your own growth and personal development and expanding your business and the ministry because you are worried about how somebody's going to feel, right? You're concerned about people's feelings. But then it made me start to think about some of the other ways that I move, some of the other things that I share and I don't share. And I'm not saying you have to share everything. I'm not saying that you have to share everything. But what I'm saying to you is there are things that I haven't shared because I was concerned about how this is going to make somebody feel. Like, I'm not going to share it because I'm worried about how this is going to make you feel. You might feel a certain way if I say this. You might feel a certain way if I declare that this is something that I want for my life. You might feel a certain way if I say, well, this is the new standard that I have. So I just kind of keep that stuff to myself because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or I don't want anybody to feel a type of way. Listen, I went live yesterday on Instagram and I said, you don't owe these people nothing. And I think the Lord is really trying to get me free from the thoughts of other people. I did not think I was a person who moved or was concerned about what other people think. But the Lord is revealing to me and has revealed to me this week that sometimes you can think that, but the truth of the matter is that you are in some areas paralyzed by the thought of what somebody is going to think or how somebody is going to feel about something that you're doing. Deep down, it's like this core thing. So maybe I'm not concerned about what people think about what I've been called to do in this work at a certain level. But when it gets beyond that, this is for me. When it gets to a place of abundance, I'm not worried about what people think about me when it comes to me doing what I need to do for like basics, right? Like the basic things. Like, oh, this is what I need to do to pay my rent, or this is what I need to do to pay my this is what I need to do to pay my rent, or this is what I need to do to pay my car payment, or whatever. I'm not worried about those types of things, but I am, come to find out, concerned about how somebody's going to feel, right? Or what somebody's going to think about my above and beyond what I need. What are people going to say if they knew, you know, whatever. I don't even want to say it, right? Like, what are certain people going to say, or how certain people going to feel if they find out that this is what we're doing with our time, or this is how we're spending our money? And that right there keeps you from progressing. It's a limiting belief. It's this feeling that you have. And it may not be, it's a limiting belief. It doesn't mean it's not true. Let me just say that. I don't want to imply that how somebody feels, or somebody thinking you owe them something or something like that. I'm not saying it's a limiting belief and it's not true, because I don't know your people. What I'm saying to you is that it's a limiting belief in the sense that it is keeping you from going to where God is taking you. It is keeping you from experiencing the abundance that God has for you. It is keeping you from experiencing the peace and the joy and the growth and the relationships. You are struggling to allow yourself to be in relationships with people who don't have those thoughts and feelings and, beliefs or whatever, because of the people that you continue to give space to that do have those thoughts and those feelings and whatever. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense, because I kind of feel like I'm all over the place today. But it's because it just permeates in so many areas. You think it's just one thing, but it's like this little spider vein that's really in all these places where we are sometimes subconsciously concerned about somebody else's feelings, what somebody else feels like we owe them. Sometimes people feel like they owe you, feel like you owe them something. And well, if I do this, then they're going to feel like I should do XYZ. So let's just talk about it for a second. I feel like I'm kind of talking in code a little bit. So let me stop talking in code, right? Let me just get to the heart of it. Specifically when it comes to money, there's this thing that they call the black tax, the rich black tax. Good morning. Am I? Okay, good. Sometimes there's this thing called, they refer to as the rich black tax. And what that means basically is like, when black people are rich, they have this feeling that they have to take care of people. There is this expectation that they got to take care of their friends and their family, or their mama and their siblings and their cousins or whatever, right? There's this expectation that, when you have, maybe come from poverty, that there are certain things that only rich people do. And so when you start doing them, people feel a type of way, or somebody might be saying something. And now here's the thing. One, maybe nobody feels that way about you. It is possible. I don't know your people, and I don't know if you've had these conversations, but maybe don't nobody feel like you owe them anything. Maybe that's just what you think. Maybe you think they think you owe them, right? Maybe no one's going to feel a type of way, right? Maybe that's just what you think. But what I'm saying to you is, whether they feel that way or not doesn't make it right. And it doesn't make it a good decision for you to decide how you move based on how your decision is going to make somebody feel. One of the things that I hear all the time, from my women who come through Courageous Discipleship, and for the ones who come through the mastermind, right? They come through Courageous and Mastermind, and they're like, they were thinking about doing it, but then it's like, how can I spend this kind of money on myself? I've never spent this kind of money on myself. If my mama knew, if my auntie knew, if my cousin knew that I was spending this kind of money. I told a friend that I was thinking about joining your program, and she asked me how much it was. And so then I was like, ooh, I felt some type of way. So I don't want people to know that I'm investing in myself in this way. And not because you are super secretive, but honest to God, because you are afraid that people are going to feel a type of way. You are afraid that people are going to feel inadequate, or that they're going to feel like you're not a part of the team or whatever. There are so many reasons that we don't succeed financially as women, because we don't want to be like, we don't want people to feel this way about us. Or we don't want people, if I do this and she can't afford to do it, then she's going to feel a type of way. If my business is succeeding and her business is not, then she's going to feel a type of way, right? Like, those are the types of things that we concern ourselves with. And that keeps you from winning, though. It keeps you from having money, though. Another thing I hear all the time, listen, no tea, no shade, right? One of the things I hear all the time, especially about courageous discipleship, I hear women tell me all the time, I didn't tell my mama I paid for courageous discipleship, or I didn't tell, or what I was telling my family about how great it was, or whatever. And then when my computer's about to die, so I got to get y'all plugged in. I told my family about courageous discipleship and how much I paid for it. And they were like, well, you can give me that $2,000. You ain't got to spend that. You could just go to church. If we could just go to church, wouldn't we just be in church? I'm just saying. No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. I mean, church is free. It's a church on every block, especially in the South. You grew up in the church. And real talk, your faith is the same. So if it's gonna be $2,000 to change the way like, child, child, child. You see what I'm saying? We're so concerned about that. We're so concerned about that. And that keeps us from growing. And real talk, it keeps them from growing because this is what we know to be true, even if they're not necessarily ready for it. This is what we know to be true. Exposure is what challenges the mindset. It's exposure. I can have thoughts and feelings about money, and I can have thoughts and feelings about freedom and boundaries and all of these things. I can have those thoughts and feelings about it. But the truth of the matter is, when I'm exposed to something different, not when somebody tell me something, when I start to see something different, that is the thing that will allow me to expand my mind. That is the thing that will allow me to change even how I might be approaching something. It wasn't until I was exposed to something else. Come on. It wasn't until I was exposed to a different way of living, to a different way of thinking, that I thought, okay, well, I know she put her pants on like I put my pants on. So she out here doing it and I can see her. She's not a celebrity. She's not, you know what I'm saying? She's not an actress. She's not any of those things. She didn't come from money, but she was able to do these things. Now that I've been able to see it, now I believe not necessarily that it will happen, but it's possible that it's not just for them, to have this thing. This week I had a lot of feelings this week. I had a lot of feelings this week. And one of the things I had feelings around is that we got somebody to come and clean the house. We live in a rental. It is one, two, three. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, with a formal dining room, a very large eat-in kitchen, um, and then my office space. And y'all know my office. And the office space is as large as the master bedroom because it's like directly under it. So it's a very huge space. Um, and we had somebody come and clean the house. We paid somebody to come and clean the house. And I've been thinking about having somebody come and clean the house for a while. Even before I quit my job, I was thinking about having somebody clean the house. Like, we clean or whatever, but it's just a lot of house and it's some stuff I'm not doing. I'm not doing a ton of dusting. I'm not cleaning baseboards like that. I want them clean, but I'm not about to be doing it. I'm just not doing it, right? And so many of the people in my space have house cleaners. So many of the people in my space have house cleaners. And I just think, oh, that's so strange. I thought, oh my gosh, it's so strange. Like, I don't need nobody to come and clean my house. I can clean my own house. But finally, I got into a conversation with a friend who was like, just think about how much space it would clear up in your mind. It's big business. Brittany Sherrill, she's mindset coach. She was like, think about how much space it would clear up in your mind if you had somebody else to come and clean your house. And I was like, you're right about that. She was like, and you can be working while they're cleaning or whatever. And I was like, that's true. So they came and they did a deep clean. And it was, listen, y'all, this house is so clean. I was like, girl, this house is clean like a professional cleaned it. And they did, right? It was a couple that came, and when I tell you they clean, they was up on stuff, they was trying, they clean, and it looked so good and it felt so good to just come out of my office at the end of the day and the house was clean. I was able to go out. And actually met Brittany that day. She was in town and we went out to dinner, and I didn't have to worry about like, oh, but I really need to do XYZ, and I'm going out of town today. And so I wanted to have, I like to have my house clean before. I like for my house to be clean before I go, but now I didn't have to do it. Exposure. Now I talked to somebody that day and they felt a little bit away, like, oh, so you got somebody cleaning your house, but y'all both there because my husband is retired. And so he's home. I retired my husband last year. And so he's also home and he doesn't work for anybody. And he's not particularly busy during the day. I'm not so particularly busy that I couldn't clean, but we don't have to. right? And I almost didn't share it when they were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" or whatever. I almost didn't share it because I knew the person on the other end of that phone was going to be judging me, was gonna be throwing me a little bit of shade. And this person I'm related to, so you know how it is when you're related. This person was gonna be judging me and throwing me a little bit of shade, even if it's like in a joking way, right? Like it's not necessarily like people like, oh, it's not mean spirited. Yeah, but you saying it and you feel away or whatever. Like, oh, that's what y'all spent your money on. Y'all could have bought this, or y'all could have paid me to do whatever, right? Like that kind of thing. And then today, I'm leaving today to go to this to go on this retreat, and I'm flying first class, and I haven't said that a lot outside of my close people, and I haven't said that a lot outside of communities where women are my clients, right? So this is a different mindset. you know One, when it comes to like my mastermind, courageous living mastermind, that's a different mindset for those women because they are investing $4,500 for their own personal growth and development so that they can get these things in place. And so in that space, these are women who understand just the comfort and the luxury of first class. Like it's it's not like, oh, what did you do to deserve it? Is it a special occasion? No, I don't want to fly coach anymore. I want to fly first class. I've flown first class in the past. And I know that with traveling, it's a better experience. How are we women of God, women of faith? We never want the best experience. We always want to serve ourselves last. We always want to put everybody before us. We're even concerned about how somebody's going to feel about how we're spending the money that they did not give to us. But people need to be exposed. Like we are frustrated with the mindsets of people that are around us. And in particular, it's oftentimes our family, right? Because now listen, that's a whole nother day. We typically not choosing friends. Okay, that's right. Laverta flew first class to Chicago. Let's go. We typically don't choose friends that are going to continue to have that, negativity or bring negativity about the choices and things that we make. But realizing that I don't have to be concerned. You don't have to be concerned about how somebody else is going to feel about the choices that you are making. You don't have to worry about what narrative somebody's going to say in their head about you or even out loud about you because you've chosen luxury, because you've chosen abundance, because you've chosen one of my affirmations. And it makes me a little sad. I think it might be packed up already. One of my affirmations, and I think it makes me a little sad that I need to say it, right? I think it does. It makes me a little sad that I need to say it, that it needs to be an affirmation. I mean, it is what it is, and so I'm gonna say it until it's not an issue. But one of the things that I wrote on my affirmation this year is that I live my life to the fullest, and I love every minute of it. That I'm living my life to the fullest, and I love every minute of it. And what that looks like for me is traveling when I want to travel. It looks like not working on the days that I don't want to work. It looks like having a shut off time for my work. It looks like not working 5 and 6 days a week just because other people work 5 and 6 days a week. It looks like starting my workday the way I want to start my workday. It looks like taking a day trip with my husband if we so choose. It looks like renting a beach house in a town that I come from where there's plenty of family and choosing to pay money to stay on the beach instead of staying with family. It looks like flying first class. It looks like staying in a suite. It looks like choosing whatever it is I want to choose, right? Without explaining. That is what it looks like. That's what that life looks like. And I've just been thinking all week long, like, why am I not more excited about the fact that I'm going out of town? Why am I not more excited about the life that I get to live? Can y'all see? I know it's a mess over there. Y'all see my boxes over there for Courageous Living Mastermind, and there's some boxes right there on the seat over here for Courageous Discipleship that I'm sending out. Like, why am I not more excited about the life that I get to live Why am I not more excited about the personal, mental, and emotional growth that I've had where I no longer want to be in certain kind of conversations and I no longer want to play like I played before. I no longer want to speak like I spoke. Like, why am I feel like, oh, well, I don't want to act like that because then people gonna think, or listen, stop worrying about people's feelings. Like how they gonna feel about what you saying, if you gonna hurt their feelings, what they stop worrying about people's feelings. Stop worrying about people's feelings. Don't you make another decision based on somebody's feelings. Make a decision based on who you are, the type of woman you are, who it is that you want to be. Do I want to be a woman who stands up for herself, or do I want to be a woman who just allows people to walk all over her? Do I want to be a woman who gets sucked into a conversation that I don't want to be sucked into because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings? Or am I going to be a woman who's going to protect my mind and my heart, right? And my peace and my joy and say, I'm not going to be a part of this conversation? Do I want to be a woman who feels like she is at the mercy of her friends and her family, where she can't afford to take a break or take some time out, or take a breather? Do I feel like that? No. Do I want to be that type of woman? Do I want to be the type of woman, that's ashamed of what God is doing? Because let me tell y'all something. When I was broke, I was going live talking about how I didn't have any money, but I was trusting God anyway. Like, when I didn't have any money and I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills, after I quit my job, I did lives all the time. I did a live all the time, talking about how I didn't have any money, how I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent, and how the enemy was talking trash to me, but I refused to go back to work because I trust God. I don't go live often saying I'm going on a retreat because I want to. I paid for it upfront and in full. I'm staying in a beach resort. I'm flying first class. I'm not saying that. I'm not going live saying I'm done spending my time doing things that I no longer enjoy, so we hired house cleaners. I'm not going live saying, you know, my husband and I just, sat in the backyard all day because God has blessed the work of my hands so much that even without a retirement plan, I was able to retire my husband in November of last year. I'm not going live um, just talking about, you know, how the business is flourishing, how I just hired a team of copywriters, they got me on retainer, how I have a designer on retainer, how I have an assistant. Like, I'm not going live talking about that stuff. Why? Because I'm worried about somebody's feelings, if I'm honest. I don't want people to feel like I don't want people to feel like I'm all about the money. I don't want people to feel like I'm flexing for the gram. I don't want people to feel like I'm on a flex. I don't want people to think that means that I'm so rich. I don't want people to think that means that I'm not still in the journey. I don't want people to think that means, like, all of these things. I'm so concerned. But here's the truth. The truth is that I need to guard my heart. I'm gonna bring this home and I'm gonna be done. The truth is, we need to guard our hearts, right? And that doesn't just look like what we allow to come in, right? It doesn't just look like the messages that we take in. I think that part of guarding our heart is giving voice to our testimony. I think part of guarding our heart is giving voice to our testimony because we got a short memory. Sometimes we hit a little blip and we forget how good God has been. That's not guarding our heart. So I ain't saying everybody's always like, anytime you are saying something, like, people are like, oh, it's a flex, oh, it's a whatever. Well, if it's a flex, then flex it. If this is what, I mean, I don't know really where that came from, but if it's a flex, then it's a flex. The flex, you know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about nobody else's feelings. If me saying I don't, entertain those types of conversations anymore, hurts your feelings, well, my peace is a flex. I'm about to flex these boundaries. You understand what I'm saying? I'm about to flex these blessings because I was flexing every wound. I was flexing every hardship, every difficulty, every obstacle, every challenge. I was flexing that. So your girl's going to have a new flex. And I suggest you do the same. I suggest you have a new flex, right? You have a new flex that instead of flexing every challenge and every obstacle, that we start flexing on this faith, that we start flexing on the blessings of God, that we start flexing on what we've manifested because of the things that we've said out of our mouths, the things that we've believed. I think it's time for us to start flexing on how great our relationships are. Stop being a part of conversations where you complain about your life when the truth is, you know what I'm saying? The truth is you love your life. The truth is you have great friends. The truth is you love your job. The truth is you love where you live. The truth is you love this season that you're in. Stop being a part of this like, oh, it's kind of a struggle. No, my life is not a struggle. And if that means that you think, right, if that makes you feel like I'm saying my life is perfect, well, that's you. And that means you dumb. Because everybody knows ain't nobody life perfect. There is no perfection. So if you think that, you are a fool. And that is not my business. Okay? That is absolutely not my business. But I'm going to be out here. I'm not going to be downplaying nothing that the Lord has done. So the Lord restored love and closeness and has strengthened your marriage, but you don't want to flex that because somebody else is single, because somebody else's marriage is going through. Your business is flourishing right now, and you don't want to talk about how people are signing up left and right. You don't want to talk about, how successful your business is because somebody else is struggling in their business. Well, let the words of your mouth be encouragement for them. Let what you are dealing with right now today be something that lets them know that God is still at work and that God is still able. Let them know that it is possible because they know you're not perfect and they know you're not no genius and you're not a wizard. So if the Lord did it for you, he will do it for them. Stop being worried about how your, how your come up is going to make somebody else feel. No, stop being worried. No, share that. No, I got a great relationship with my kids. No, I love my kids. They aggravate them, but I love my kids. I have a great relationship. They be over here on Sundays. I had to tell one not to come yesterday, 2 days straight. I'm like, do not come over here. Me and your dad are trying to have some time alone before I go out of town. You can come see me. You really want to see me? You can come see me Friday before I leave. You do not need to come here during the week and be interrupting me and your dad's time because I work and then me and your dad are hanging out. That's it, right? I love my kids and my kids love me and they love being over here. Let me not, act like I don't have a good relationship. Let me not act like, me and my husband don't have a great relationship. No, I love that dude. He is so funny. He's so funny. And he's so good looking, child. He's so fine, y'all. Love him. He's amazing. And he takes such great care of me. And I love spending time with him, not spending time with him, just going out all the time. Like literally, I love just sitting on the back, in the backyard with him. We can sit in the backyard and talk, or we can sit in the backyard and not talk. We can sit in the backyard and listen to music, or we can sit in the backyard and both be on our phones. I don't care. But when I tell you I love spending time with him, I love spending time with him. I get a little sad when it is time for me to leave him, even if I'm looking forward to the trip that I'm going on. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's a new day, and I'm not going to be sitting around acting like my man is not amazing because I don't want nobody to feel like I'm saying he's perfect. Well, I don't care what you think. But I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be worried about somebody else's feelings. I'm not responsible. I'm not going to act like I'm not getting healthy every day because somebody is struggling with something. I'm not going to act like I'm not getting out of debt because somebody, can't see their way out of debt. I'm not doing that because I'm worried about somebody's feelings. I'm also not going to pretend like the Lord ain't blessing us over here left and right because he is. And if you feel a type of way about that, you're going to feel a type of way. So prepare to be sick of me because I'm going to be talking about my blessings every day. You're going to be like, I'm so, okay, well, fine. Unfollow, baby. Unfollow. This talking about the struggle, complaining about everything that's not right, that is done. If we're not having a conversation about a solution, then friend, guess what? I'm done talking about it. And I don't care how you feel about it. I'm cutting the conversation right off. I'm cutting it off. Is this leading to a solution? I'm no longer the person to vent to. And if you're my friend and you watching this, don't let me vent to you. You be like, friend, or is this coming? Are we getting to a solution or are we just chewing the cud? Because if we just chewing the cud, we about to spit this thing out. We gonna be done with it. I just want to encourage you not to be, and I know it seems like it's not connected, but it really and truly is. If you think about it, if you think about why you don't share the great things, if you think about why you don't make your boundaries clear, if you think about why you're not sharing your dreams, if you think about why you're not initiating conversations with people in your circle, in your family, when you think about why you're not sharing, it's not so much that I mean, maybe for some people it's just that you're private, but some of you it's not that you're private. It's that you're concerned about how somebody else is going to feel. I don't know who this is for, but I'm going to say this. I remember when, you know, me and Mike were going through a difficult time. And the truth is, I wanted to fight for my marriage. That was the truth. I didn't want us to be divorced. I didn't want us to go our separate. Like, that's absolutely not what I wanted. I wanted us to be together. I wanted to fight through what we were going through. And I had a person in my life that I could share that with, that I could say, like, this is what's going on, but I actually don't want to toss in the towel, right? I don't want to toss in the towel. I really want to fight for this. Some of you are not speaking life over a situation that needs you to desperately speak life over it because you're worried about how somebody is going to feel about the fact that you want to fight for it. You're worried about how somebody's going to feel about the fact that you want to leave your hometown. You're worried about how somebody's going to feel about the fact that, you want to leave your job. You're worried about how somebody's going to feel about the fact that you want to stay on your job. You're worried about how somebody's going to feel about like all these things that you want to do. And so now instead of speaking life over it, you are silenced, right? You've been silenced by your fear, or you speaking death over it because it's the culture that we're in, right? Because it's the culture that you're in, whether you're a nurse or what. I feel like nurses and teachers, I mean, I feel like we complain a lot. I was a teacher. I feel like that is like complain culture. Maybe other industries as well, but certainly I felt like in the medical field, they complain about everything. And then as teachers in the field of education, just like people complaining about everything, myself included. You know what I'm saying? Why not be like, no, I love my students, I love my class, I love my job, I love my life. Instead of pretending like it's such a struggle or you don't like I just think we got to stop worrying about other people's feelings, right? That's what I got free from this week. I pray that this Freedom Friday has helped to get you free from being worried about somebody's opinions, worried about somebody else's feelings, and that you would make the decision to guard your own heart and guard your own mind and watch your own tongue, right? As it pertains to the things in your life. All right, let me go. I love y'all. I got to pack my car up so that I can drop these boxes, 6 boxes, 6 women, 6 lives, 6 families changed, 6 lives. Super excited about that. I usually send y'all somewhere, but I feel like the best place I can send you is Courageous Discipleship. Enroll in Courageous Discipleship today. Go to couragemoulinauniversity.com and enroll in Courageous Discipleship today. There are some flexible payment options if you need them. It's going to absolutely change your life. That Courageous Discipleship, if you are a woman who is saying yes to the call on your life and you've never been taught how to study the word, and you are wondering like you feel like you can't hear from God, or you're not sure if it's God, or you want to make sure it's God, like that kind of thing. If that's how you're feeling and you are unable to make decisions and you're on the fence a lot, or you're always thinking like, is this the right thing? Which thing should I do? If that's you and you find that you are stalled out in your business, if you find that you are stalled out and making decisions, then I encourage you to enroll in Courageous Discipleship. enroll in Courageous Discipleship. It is a 12-week biblical studies program. It is going to help you get some clarity. It's going to help you to hear the voice of God like you've never heard the voice of God before. It is going to equip you, right, with the ability to rightly interpret the word. It's going to help you to become highly skilled in strategically studying the word of God and applying it to your life and applying it to your business, right? Most of the women that come through Courageous Discipleship um, are able to speak to practical life changes, right? They're able to speak to practical life changes. Um, and those practical life changes are things like, I was concerned about this or I was hating my job, but since I've come through Courageous Discipleship, I'm able to see that my job is the thing that's allowing me to finance my business. And so now this is what I'm going to do. They come through Courageous Discipleship and decide, you know what? I've been in this business for 20 years, but what I really want to do is I want to help women over the age of 50 to do XYZ. And so Courageous Discipleship, while it is a biblical studies program, it's not a mastermind. It is not a mastermind. It is not a mastermind. Okay. It is a biblical studies online program. Even though it's a biblical studies online program that's that is like extremely heavy on Bible, when you get in the word that way and you develop this relationship with God through this means, right? Through this particular way, it doesn't just increase your understanding and knowledge of the word. It doesn't just increase your, that's not it. That's not all it does. It certainly increases your understanding of the word. And it certainly, equips you to study the word better. But it's in those moments that God really pulls you aside and you start to have a relationship with him like you've never had before. And when you get in that space, you start to like lay down these insecurities and these doubts that cloud the clear vision that he's given you, right? It's like it was always there, but you couldn't get clarity around it because the thing that was, prohibiting your clear view was doubt and, insecurity and maybe even some feelings of unworthiness. But this discipleship program is like the word is saying, it's the real deal. Um, it is the real deal. And so if you're not enrolled in Courageous Discipleship, it starts the day that you enroll. So if you enroll in Courageous Discipleship, then you can start right away. I'll send your gift box when I get back because I'm leaving. So if you're not enrolled in Courageous Discipleship, go to couragemolinauniversity.com and see what courses you're enrolled in. And if you're enrolled in Courageous Discipleship, it will tell you already currently enrolled. Go to Courageous Discipleship and enroll today. Don't wait 2 weeks. Don't wait 3 weeks. Just enroll today. And if you need a flexible payment plan, then send me a message and I can send it to you. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to send out an email since I've talked so much about it on this call. And if you get that email that invites you into Courageous Discipleship, then you probably not encourage discipleship. Okay. All right. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay. For church. Love y'all. Later.